I made up my mind. I'm gonna splice fight with that song. I'm gonna see what I can do with that opener. Yeah, yeah. My brain is cooking right now. I'm gonna put the opening part of the fight song and cross it over into "We Need a Hero." I want to see how that works. I'm gonna experiment one day when we get to when we get around to doing season 2 of MA Spotlight, or is it gonna be season 3, or is it actually gonna be? When did we start this?
On a time of day or time of night.
Okay,
Good
we're
one.
not gonna ask her any more questions. No,
No, this would.
I
No,
thought it
this
was
would
last.
be.
I thought it was last year because she started with anime. Is that when we
yeah,
started?
yeah. We started with anime, then we went to animation. I don't know what show or movie we started with. Oh no. We started with the X-Men Evolution. That was technically the prototype animation spotlight. That's right.
It was the
Yeah,
prototype.
the prototype. Good evening, everybody. This is your Wolf Commander Wolf 10. I'm your werewolf. And I was just musing on making that opening a little bit better. Y'all bear with me. I'm gonna spice that up when we get to season 2. But until then, feast on that prototype. For now, we got Hugh Della Terra, our usual fan that comes in and posts a comment every once in a while at the end of a stream. But hey there, buddy. Anyways, like I said, I'm a werewolf. Tonight we're continuing on with the next season of our favorite animation, comic book anime adaptation. I got too much sugar in my head, and I don't even know how I'm doing this.
Take your time.
Am I still here, guys? Or am I in another world? Are you guys real?
Oh my god!
You
have I
asked
got-
us here.
Justice Fearless Leader, you're not in the Matrix. You're in reality.
Oh no, I thought I was in the Mojoverse.
Oh my god!
You're not there either.
That world did numbers on me, guys. I can barely tell which is left or which is right. Mojo did things to me, and not in a good way. I can still smell his snot all over me.
Oh good lord!
Are you sure it's not the Pepto-Bismol?
Or anything
God.
else?
His nose hairs was talking to me. They said they could
Oh
do
my
the show way
God.
better than I can. Put me in the midlife crisis, y'all.
On the nose hairs, my god.
Sorry, I just had to smack it just to wake you up.
My werewolf had PTSD after that venture.
Uh,
Are
No,
you sure you aren't hallucinating?
Yes. Did you
No.
take anything you didn't know of?
nah.
There was something put into your juice.
Wolf, you got to wake up!
That's the first time I heard Humble Wicked laugh. Anyways, we are talking about X-Men 92.
X メンとは悪の脅威から人類を守り、人類とミュータントの平和的共存を実現するために組織されたミュータントヒーローチームである。 X-Men! X-Men!
Yeah, I know they had a second opening, did ya?
I knew. Because
I
believe me, I did the
not.
research.
Fucking overachiever, this motherfucker right here. Anyways, let me introduce our crew, starting with this mouth breather right here,
Oh
the
my-
Warrior of Life Final Fantasy Fan 12.
Greetings YouTube viewers and my fellow Final Fantasy fans, this is Final Fantasy Fan 12 and welcome back to another livestream of the UN Spacey Wolf Squatch, and today we are back with another episode of Animation Spotlight, this time covering more of X-Men 1992, covering Season 4, the second to last season of the show, which has some hit or misses, but I could not be more grateful with this season for about 2 reasons, which I will get into, and sadly, Janelle will not be here because she is already hanging out with her friends, so sorry guys.
I believe she's getting over her illness gradually, but yes, she is taking care of personal things. She'll be fine, everybody. Don't worry. We also have the Humbles of Riders, Humble Marty.
Hello, I'm Humble Marty, and I write things, and I get to talk about mutants in spandex.
What would you prefer? Black leather?
Oh no, the brighter colors, of course. I mean, what else can a sniper aim for? Black spandex?
If you get that reference, then pat yourself on the back.
That's why I'm laughing. I got that one.
By the way, she also writes good. She also writes good Wolfsbane fan fiction. Involving whips and chains and dog
You
collars.
do know my.
That's not what I meant by black leather, dude. Freaking sicko.
You do know when I write characters, it doesn't matter if it's cute or edgy. They will all get thrown.
Glad
into
you
the
got
same
that, Buddy
pit
Smith.
Of heck, right?
I got it final. That's why I laughed because I knew
I
what you were
got it
talking
too.
about. Mhm.
Love
That's really ignored
Wolfsbane.
what she just said.
Well, I don't have any Wolfbane fanfic, but I did write a Rick and Morty one once.
Oh,
Did
goodness.
you?
Yeah,
oh man.
Rick and
okay,
Morty's
anyway.
slice of life is very weird. Don't ask me how I got that.
Well, you can certainly save that for one of these summer episodes of the Room Millennials, where we do a round 3 of Fanworks.
To think, I was trying to get her to talk more since she talks very little during these streams, but we got more than what we needed. So we are moving on to the next speaker. That is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Good evening, afternoon, or morning, everyone. This is the Hound of South, Dominic Powell, and welcome to our latest episode of Animation Spotlight, where we touch on Season 4 of X-Men 92.
AKA where things begin to fall apart for the series.
But it struck the landing, even barely.
We shall see. We also have the lovely Leia Leia plus size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor, and welcome to our colorful discussion of the X-Men 92 TV series, the best series overall, or anything else. And I hope you enjoy the conversation that we have. And I slightly have to agree with Wolf on this one. This is the season 4, and this is where I think the X-Men started to lose steam. But this should make a very interesting discussion because we're going to discuss highlights. And
God dang it!
I knew you just had to throw that in. You just had to get it in there, didn't you? Couldn't wait till the show started.
I already made a
Let's
reference
see
to
how
the
it goes.
X-Men films,
Highlights,
and
the
then you make a
lowlights,
reference to another
the
one.
Rippling hills and valleys.
Mhm.
Just take a
I
look
mean-
at the girls.
I mean, it is close to what the subject matter is in this season. This is definitely a Wolverine-centric season.
You sure about that?
Dude, he's been more proactive. He's been very proactive throughout this whole season.
I know, I'm just playing. I was being funny.
I know. Oh, I got something for the guys too. Here. grab a
Ah, damn
rogue
it.
sandwich.
Damn it.
I knew that was going to show up.
Since July is not too far out, there you guys go.
Speaking of which in the 4th of July, one of our new episodes we'll be doing for the Real Millennials is the portrayal of America in fiction.
Negro, you getting ahead of yourself. Let's get back into the damn show right now. At hand.
Yay.
He always trying to stroke his dick every chance he gets in his damn stream. Jesus
We
Christ,
don't even
Dom.
know
You
where
just can't
it's
keep it in your
been. Why
pants,
touch
man.
it?
What, dude?
See, now you got Final pulling out
I
his
have a
magic.
spritz bottle. No, I have a spritz bottle, and I will use it. Use it for anything crude you say.
Shameless plugging
You just
in
complaining?
for Thursday show.
I guess not. Okay, now you are.
Well, I am the
Okay.
leader. What the hell is you doing, Humble?
What is she singing?
The Jeopardy song. I mean, if we're going to spend lots of time, might as well sing some Jeopardy.
Oh. But yeah, season 4 of X-Men has some hit or misses here and there.
Let's start with the let's get the elephant out of the room real fast. I incorrectly named 4 episodes that were apparently in the folders of the pirated seasons I got. There was 4 episodes that were in there labeled under season 3 when technically they're part of season 4, which Final had pointed out himself. He had the right order with his bootleg CDs. So we'll start with the first 4, which was The Return of Juggernaut. Hang on.
No, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Yes, your cats. You got claws.
But yeah, this is something that I've already pointed out.
Actually, there's 3 episodes. Oh,
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
There's
yeah.
Courage, Xavier Remembers, Secrets Not Long Buried, and The Juggernaut Returns. But go ahead, Final. Lead us to the promised land.
It's more so with, if you have the DVDs for the original X-Men series, you would know that there are some seasons that would feel more out of place, and they do go in chronological order, but it's particularly going in chronological order from when the episodes aired. So then if you're discovering why No Mutant is an Island is in season 5 when it's supposed to be season 3 because it takes place directly after the Phoenix Saga, or the Long Shot episode that's also from season 3, or a few episodes of season 4 that are in season 5, that's why.
Our man who does his research.
Okay, that explains a lot. Thanks. Yeah.
And it's also the reason why Final was very silent about when we kind of like kind of breeze through those episodes a bit real fast. It's mostly because they were in season 4 where he can actually speak on them now. And to be honest, those are the best episodes out of all of the episodes in this season. I mean, my favorite was of course Nightcrawler, because
Yes.
the introduction of Nightcrawler, and Jesus Christ, when I was a kid, when I first saw Nightcrawler, I wanted to be like him. I said, "Bye, Cyclops. Hi, Nightcrawler."
Wait, no, I thought it was Archangel.
Was it Archangel?
Yeah, because you said it in order, because it was Cyclops, then Gambit, then Archangel, and then Nightcrawler.
Right, it was "Bye, Archangel. Hi, Nightcrawler."
But yeah, Nightcrawler. I love Nightcrawler. He's such a badass. I love him. He's one of my favorite.
Go on.
He is one of my favorite. He is absolutely one of my favorite X-Men besides Nightcrawler. Or yeah, that is Nightcrawler. Besides Colossus, I meant.
Mhm.
Like lots of the kids in my high school, where some high schools worshipped the football team, ours worshipped elves, and Nightcrawler was a furry elf. So yeah, he had a very popular fan base. And fan art, but X-rated.
Now, my
Wow,
question
who
is-
could have been? Who would have thought there would have suddenly been some X-rated fan art for a character who is a very devoted Catholic?
That's probably why they found him hot.
You have not
He
been
has the
around
angsty
girls.
backstory. He's got the good heart, and he doesn't do something stupid. So that's like the three things for a major girl crush on a dark guy.
All I'm
And yet
saying-
to add the fact that his childhood idol is Errol Flynn. Which is why he likes swashbuckling and pirates. Despite being voted Catholic. Because again, knowing the history of pirates.
You haven't been
Daryl
around
Flynn.
women, dude. They are nasty, especially when it comes to good boys. They are nasty. I've seen, man. I've been. If I had a dime for every time a woman would say Wolverine is husband or husband, I would not be a rich person, but I would have a lot of money in my tip jar. Because ever since the X-Men movies, girls want to lather Hugh Jackman before
What?
Chris Hemsworth.
Oh yeah, as
Chris
demonstrated
Evans.
here from earlier.
If they found out Hugh Jackman could also sing, they'd be screaming like a bunch of Bobby Soxer fans in a Looney Tunes show.
Oh, that just,
Oh, they have been. They have been. Because he's been in quite a few musicals.
there have been lots and lots of rivers those times when he sang.
Yes.
But how many? I wonder how many who are watching right now became a Nightcrawler fan since X2. Because I was a Nightcrawler fan since X-Men '92, but I'm pretty sure some of you guys have been a Nightcrawler since '92. But I'm sure there was a surge of Nightcrawler fans because of X2. See, the thing with '92 though, the one I gotta say, I do have my criticisms, and well, I wouldn't say criticisms; they're nitpicks actually. I have a few nitpicks of Nightcrawler in the episode. One, it's far too damn fast paced. Two, his teleportation is completely underutilized. Because there are so many times where he could just teleport out of situations. They mostly had him crawling on walls half the time. And I'm sure if Janelle was here, she probably would explain that to herself. But what did it say? Is police out there? Neighbors. Anyways, yeah, I was like, man, I remember having fun with this episode, but damn, now that I know that he teleports, I'm thinking like, Kurt, you could teleport out of this whole situation. You could, as a matter of fact, you could teleport up on one of these rooftops. They ain't gonna follow you, or at least if they try to, they'll get tired once you teleport to the next rooftop. And then they have to go back downstairs and go to that building, and you can just do it over and over again. That would have been hilarious if he did that shit. It's like, can't
But then again, there would be choppers up there.
Huh?
There would have been choppers on that roof. You're saying, wait, he's already on the roof. Hey, they would already go up there. Or even get some choppers up there so he can't get out.
Military equipment flying over that motherfucker. Did you not
I was
see
talking
that?
I was talking about the
Huh?
I was talking about the Bloodlines episode.
Oh, I'm talking about his debut episode. Like he could have just teleport from rooftop to rooftop and just wore their asses out that way. Sure, he'll wear himself out teleporting, but he would still have way more stamina than they would. All they gotta do is, oh, he's over there. Let's go back down. You know what? Let's do this again tomorrow. He gonna be up there for a while. Better yet, he could pose as a gargoyle. Though Bloodlines is my favorite episode after his debut episode. His debut episode for me is kind of like a 7 out of 10. Reason why it's 7 out of 10 because the next nitpick, which is the ending spoilers. Wolverine rediscovers and reinforces his fate. However, Here's my thing though. The
Doesn't
scene
follow
where
through with it.
he does. My thing is, it should not have happened this fast at the end of this episode. What he did at the end, which is he prayed. First, he read the Bible. He receives the Bible, but then he prays to the altar in the Catholic Church. I'm not saying he shouldn't have. What I'm saying is they should have saved that for another character defining moment payoff in another episode where he's having where his arc is he's having a midlife crisis after the Proteus 2-parter.
Mm.
That's where he should have prayed. That's where he should have started reading the Bible. It's like once he was done, especially in that one episode where he goes to Japan. What's it called again?
I think it was called
Samurai.
The Lois and the Steel. The Lois and the Steel.
Yeah.
That's where he should have pulled out the Bible, or rather, that's where he should when he came home to America. That's where he went. That's where he goes to a church and start praying. I would say
And
that for
another thing.
episodes.
There's also, the Nightcrawler's debut in the season is actually one of my favorites. The other thing that I mentioned is that it's actually mentioned in that very episode where Wolverine says, yeah, Jean is already happy, that he's not even worried about Jean. She's already happy now that she's with Cyclops and married to Cyclops this time around. And thank God that love triangle bullshit is over.
You say that.
Oh, damn it. Are they still continuing with that in season 5?
Probably not. But
not as heavy.
Probably not. It's just anybody who's watched this series came out of that and gone into the comics know full well that it shows growth in the show, but in the comics it's so immaturely circle jerking. It swings back in a revolving door every single time. Way back when, during the 90s, up into the 2000s, way worse in the Ultimate Universe as well. Jesus Christ! Oh my goodness, we got to talk a little bit more about the Ultimate Universe, specifically the Ultimate X-Men. That's a terrible portrayal of the X-Men, but I digress. No, the thing is, you're right. They do get married, but not in Nightcrawler's episode, but later in
Beyond Good and Evil.
Yeah, the first episode of Beyond Good and Evil, which is an Apocalypse 4-parter. Not the best 4-parter.
I have to agree. It wasn't the best one.
It is a drag, and it was completely convoluted and unfocused. It kind of degrade Apocalypse, though it does it does have one of his best lines. Let me see if I can find his quote, because it starts with the first episode starts with him faced off Cable, had the man dead to rights, and the motherfucker went through a midlife crisis.
And yet he still followed through with his own plan.
Yep. the way how it's so dramatic. It's very poetic, to say the least. But when you really like narrow it down, freaking Cable just gave Apocalypse a midlife crisis. This man's been fighting this god amongst mutants and humans for years, and the best thing he did was make the man question himself.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, questioning someone who is the third kind of villain for the X-Men they face, where he thinks mutants are the dominant race because Magneto was first.
On wiki quotes of all places, man, Wikipedia, you are shit.
Yes, Magneto, Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister. Who's the fourth one that is also like that? I keep thinking there's a fourth.
It was Magneto, Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, and I think that was it. Was there anyone else? I can't think of anyone else.
I feel like I'm thinking of someone else, and I think I'm forgetting.
It's
Wait, are
choppy
you talking about Beyond Good and Evil?
Mhm.
Well, yeah, but I'm also talking about like the type of villains that the type of X-Men villain they always face is the one who thinks mutants are the superior race. There's 4 types. And we pointed out it's Mr. Sinister, Magneto, Apocalypse, and there's one more that I'm
Mr.
forgetting.
Sinister is different because he believes in human potential. He just uses
Yeah, he
mutant.
believes in human potential.
He uses mutants to achieve that
You're-
goal.
You're probably
You're not wrong.
you're thinking of Fabian Cortez, who made his animated debut in the multi-part Sanctuary, which is an adaptation of X-Men issue numbers 1 through 3 for Volume 2, as well as a loose adaptation of Fatal Attractions.
Okay.
However, he was the Starscream of the Acolytes.
Oh God, I could not stand Cortez. I think I said that in the last stream, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, he did.
Couldn't stand his ass.
Was that the one who stabbed Magneto in the back at Asteroid M?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
Okay.
his powers deals with the amplification of other mutant powers.
This motherfucker's
Okay.
a supporter, and
Does-
he's trying to rise up the ranks. You supposed to be a mercy, motherfucker. You ain't supposed to betray your dungeon mates or your team. You're supposed to get them to the finish line. Whose side you on, healer?
Yep, he's
Yeah.
got the makings of Starscream, all right.
However,
Exactly.
you do have some good people within the Acolytes, such as Amelia Vogt, who much like in the comics, was a former lover of Charles.
Can't stand her.
Again, that's like 3 unsuccessful love lives of Charles Xavier.
Successful? Are you putting that in air quotes?
Or 3, no, 3 unsuccessful, I meant. It probably made it came out as a Freudian slip.
Yeah.
Well,
However,
we can definitely say all his exes don't live in Texas. Otherwise, he'd have to hang his hat in Tennessee.
Wait, he's in New York though.
Oh my
What?
God, Humble, you getting adult there. Nice.
However, I will say, as a silver lining for the Marvel Anime Universe, Kevin, aka Proteus, he at least received a better fate and didn't break bad, unlike his comic book counterpart, who pretty much like left his humanity and became full on evil.
Oh God,
Right.
I told them for this episode, for this 2-part, drastically. Considering what was said in the X-Men stream over at Jay Cheryl Finney's channel, what
Generational
Janelle-
X-Men.
Yeah.
Generation X-Men, where our guest star Janelle was also a speaker there. There, man, he might as well be the devil in the comics. He might as well be
More
the devil.
so of a devil than say Mephisto or Azazel.
For real.
Well,
It's
heck,
like Jesus,
Well, heck,
when I heard
even,
his story,
even Neron of DC Comics.
oh God.
Dang.
No, Kevin. No, Earth 616, Kevin. He was a bastard.
Just like, man, he's every lesbo feminist wet dream of take down the men. Just the ultimate evil for feminists.
Oh,
Like, you're the reason why they're so fucking gung ho about eradicating all life on the planet.
a body hopping, reality warping mutant serial killer.
Oh God! But in this back to the cartoon, he's just a guy. He's just your average '90s bad father who puts career above family. He's a career man that puts career above family, which is ironic because these days that seems to be That seems to be the personalities of every female protagonist, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
I would
Yet,
agree.
yet, yet to yet to more yet to Mora's ex-husband and Kevin's dad's credit, he actually expressed remorse for his actions, unlike his comic book counterpart.
That is something I cannot actually agree more with Buddy Smith. Personally, I thought the animated take on Proteus was kind of an improvement on the comics. I could not agree more.
Oh no, I concur.
Yeah, it's Koba from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Okay,
Ape.
so
You
are we?
ape.
So right now we're talking about the Proteus episode. I
We're
got a
all
little-
over the place for
Yeah.
reals,
Yeah, 'cause I-
Leia, but
Yeah, because
pick and choose what you want to talk about. Which one was your favorite episode?
well, I have to be honest. I've been kind of silent because I had to jog my memory because again, this is the season where I think things started to go into a downslide, and I just don't have that many favorite
yeah.
episodes as I
It's
did in the past.
pretty evident
episodes.
with that. This season kind of has some. It has some hits, but a lot more misses. One
Yeah.
such case, the Christmas special.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
a Morlock Christmas.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh my goodness.
And
I
it's
was
in
hoping-
that one particularly, Gambit and Jean are such jerks to each other in the kitchen.
Completely
character.
out of character. Completely, yeah, Don. Completely out of character.
And it's just,
Like-
Jean, you are meant to be the most powerful member of the X-Men, which, to be fair, pretty much a lot of people in the X-Men are, because a lot of them are really freaking powerful, and a lot of people really underestimate how powerful each member of the X-Men really are. And you are supposed to be a very powerful-
Omega level.
Uh-huh. You are very powerful with telekinesis, and you could do literally any of this by yourself, so then why do you need Gambit in here?
Exactly. That's what I
You
was thinking
did
when I
what?
watched it.
I just gave it a little ham, little juicing up. I want this swap rat out of my kitchen now. Stop it. You're both acting like children. This is Christmas Eve, remember?
Thank
What
you.
do you mean?
Whoever
no
said that,
Eve?
I think I
You
forgot.
haven't
If,
spent days on
I
this
forgot
meal.
exactly
My
who said that.
husband, no.
yeah, that was Scott Summers.
Go say it.
Thank you,
We can warm up
Scott.
tomorrow.
Thank you.
Warming up? You do not warm up such a meal. Gambit does not make TV
And-
dinners.
It's
And
also
this is something that, sorry, Dom, and this is already off topic about this particular show. I've discussed this in the green room. This is something of more of my love-hate relationship with the X-Men, and it's that a lot of times each and every one of these characters, or not everyone, Cyclops in particular, they always lump him in as always being an asshole, and really, it was ever since 1975 with somewhere in the 70s with Chris Claremont and who was the writer for the first issue of Giant Size X-Men?
Len Wein.
Len Wein. Cyclops has just always been an asshole, and yet Wolverine is supposed to be the asshole. And yet, when Wolverine comes off as is supposed to be the jerk with the heart of gold, and he comes off as more heroic than Cyclops, who's supposed to be heroic, as he's
Boy,
always been since the Jack Kirby and Stan Lee era of the X-Men when they first appeared, you know there's a problem. This has even been evident in the movies with Wolverine's own solo film, The Wolverine, which came out a month after Man of Steel. Wolverine comes off as more heroic than Superman in Man of Steel, and again, once something like this happens, you know there's a problem.
Mm.
It's not to say that Wolverine can't be heroic or just as heroic as
I'm not
Superman.
saying he shouldn't be heroic, and,
Right.
and I wouldn't mind Wolverine going through a whole arc, and again, season 4 of the show, this is meant to be Wolverine going through an arc, suddenly having him being restored of his own faith after meeting Nightcrawler, and suddenly being friends with Nightcrawler. And yet again, but again, if Wolverine comes off as more heroic than people who are supposed to be heroic for Boy Scouts who are supposed to be heroic as say Cyclops or Superman, you know there's a problem. Though then again, there are some behind-the-scenes reason as to why, because it's really for petty reasons in terms of the comics, which is why Cyclops and Jean... Cyclops is such an asshole, why people lumped into Cyclops being an asshole, and apparently people would say Jean is suddenly useless unless she's the Phoenix.
That's true. That I agree 100% with
But
that. I do have to agree
Jean is
because
actually pretty capable,
because
even before she became the Phoenix.
yeah, well, she is. I always felt that she's underestimated as an X-Men. Her abilities and she and herself, she's underestimated. And it's just like Final said, they only seem to think she's interesting when she becomes the Phoenix. And it's okay, now she's interesting now. But before that, she's just to be underestimated, underutilized.
They really underestimate, like, I wouldn't say that Jean is the most underutilized the most. Her boyfriend is the most underutilized the most, and I'm still not over this shit. It
Well,
bugs me
touch
to no end.
We'll
you go
touch
back-
on this in a future episode of the Real Millennials regarding heroes, my friend.
I'm just trying to the fact that in that Christmas episode, Cyclops did not remove Gambit out of that room.
Right?
And again, Gambit would have still been helping out Cyclops, Jubilee, and Rogue with the tree, and Jean would have covered all this herself, because again, she is a very powerful... She's very powerful telekinetic.
Well, she wouldn't be using her psychic abilities to make the food. And as a matter of fact, both her and Aurora should be in that kitchen having girl talk, making
right.
In fact, all the women, and it's not me being sexist or chauvinist, because everybody knows every family get together or any kind of cookout, the women are always in the kitchen, no matter what your viewpoint is. The women is always in the kitchen cooking. That's their domain, regardless of what you think. But my thing is this: is that all the problem with one problem I had with that episode is the improper placement of every individual. Like Gambit, I'm like, where this started? Why is Gambit trying to make Cajun Christmas food, for one? For two, my next criticism is, why isn't all three of the main X-Men ladies in that one particular in that kitchen? Because it's established that these guys have been together for years by the time they met Jubilee, even though they were still and they were still fresh as a team, with Wolverine coming in late into the game, Rogue before Wolverine and all that jazz, right?
Mm-hmm.
They should already have this intimate connection with each other as friends and as in particular partners. As
funny as it was for Wolverine to get sprayed with perfume at the local mall, I think it would have been... It's kind of funny they didn't have Gambit say screw it and take the whole entire Christmas dinner down to where the Morlocks were at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Gambit will find some appreciation for his cooking down there.
And it's apparently the one time Storm actually utilizes being the leader of the Morlocks.
That's the reason why we had that Christmas special in the first place. They were trying to tie up a small loose end, and this is one reason why I hate this episode, for that reason. The fact is that episode was there for her to renounce her leadership of the Morlocks, and I'm like, why? That's a waste of time. Then you gave it back to the crazy bitch that tried to fucking rape your teammate so that she can have a baby by him.
Who, by the way, is also completely different in the comic, because originally in the comic it was Angel, but now it's suddenly Cyclops. So then, what the fuck does she even want to do with Jean?
As Chanel explained when we crossed that bridge, but of course, I'm like, and even then, like, even with that in mind, if we can overlook that part of the episode when they first debuted, the Morlocks themselves. Throughout this whole Christmas episode, she's being completely unreasonable. She raises her voice at everybody, including her freaking leader of all people, Storm. She does make a good point that Storm is not always there to lead the Morlocks. It's always falling on to Callisto to keep them in line. But like she's just raising her voice, calling people names, being confrontational, and Storm gives her back the leadership. Excuse me, make that make sense. She's irrational. She's hormonal. She's ready to fight everybody. And you gave that broad back the leadership to the Morlocks?
That's like giving common sense to the emotion known as menopause.
I was going to
just to quote Borat, it's the equivalent of giving a monkey a gun.
The thing is, Callisto is not the same Callisto since the first season. What makes you think she's gonna be the same person this time once you give her back the leadership? She's not like it's clearly Storm. It's clear the bitch is not right in her mind. Yeah. Okay. Here's some other inside stuff.
You could have had.
So they said they could have had Mariah as older instead of a kid and make her the new leader. Yeah, she was a kid. The kid that Jubilee was talking to was Mariana from Alpha Flight, as he pointed out in the comments earlier. But yeah, she should have pointed it to Mariana. Mariana's more level-headed and compassionate.
I'm surprised they didn't make some random kid insert character that was a literal humanoid teddy bear. I mean, they could have done it too, and the kid's name would have been Ewok.
They did have a dude up in there. You know, the dude has snake for a tail instead of legs. That was weird. How the hell y'all ass get through that damn tunnels? That fat ass
collapsible skeleton.
Now that's not to say there's no positives.
With its ribs.
There's not to say there's no positives in this episode. The scene where Wolverine uses his blood to help leach out, which was heartwarming. Jubilee, of all characters, Jubilee is the best character in this episode.
And I will say, as a missed opportunity for this Christmas episode of the X-Men, it would have been perfect if we had seen her foster parents again.
For reals.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing was Jubilee's moment to shine. It was obvious. It was really obvious that this episode was all Jubilee. Because she's the one who's asking the most questions. She's being very, as I said earlier, for many other characters, being very proactive and reactive, but she's also keeping a level head as well. Hell, she even she herself, I think, no, that was in a later episode. She started defending somebody. I forgot who it was though.
If I could say, if I could go back to, if I could say about this episode, me personally, and we were talking about the opening at the beginning with the kitchen. This episode, I agree with you guys, should have been warm-hearted, family, because at this point, the X-Men now have become family, or maybe they have been family.
I mean,
so
it's
kind
happened.
of like, yeah, they're right. So, but like Wolf said,
they're not really Marvel's first family because that's already the Fantastic Four, but yeah.
Oh yeah, correct. I follow what you're saying, Fada, but I mean, it's the progression of the show.
Okay,
so, like he said, you know, all of some of the main female X-Men should have been in the kitchen cooking, but most of all, going back to Jean Grey, she should have been in there fighting and angry. I think the Jean that I know of, the interpretation I got, she would have tried to bring everybody together and remind people of you always have that one person in the Christmas special that reminds you of the spirit of Christmas or what it's supposed to be about. And that's what she should have been about. That's what they should have had her doing instead of her throwing
and
a
yet
fit.
Jubilee did a better job with that than you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the problem I had. That should have been Jean taking the lead with that, or reminding that to Jubilee, or like you said, maybe she's missing her foster parents a little bit, and then maybe Jean can remind her and let her know that this is just as much of her family as her foster parents are, and that mansion should have been alive. It should have been colorful. It should have been Christmassy. It should have just had that moment in there, and maybe Jean could have took the lead in that, and then she just could have reminded some of the other mutants of Christmas and
Speaking
what it
of
means.
mutants,
That's the interpretation I get from her, because when you are, and I'll let you speak. Well, when you are telekinetic, you're also empathic, so I guess you can feel the other emotions of everyone in there, and that's something they could have had Jean pick up on. She reminded him of that much better than what they were doing with it. That really that whole mansion should have been, for once for this episode, just colorful and delightful and festive as we know Christmas to be. And maybe Jubilee's made me think a little down.
Oddly enough, X-Men Evolution had the better Christmas episode.
Mm-hmm.
That is true.
The one show that everybody likes to kind of renounce or don't speak of that much had the better episode than the best series of X-Men that everybody lauds.
Why does everyone want to? You know what? Never mind.
We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Probably a personal taste thing.
Probably, but yeah, we'll get there.
This guy's problems. We'll deal with that. I even me and Schooner had talked about them. Even clipped one to illustrate. One thing that a lot of shows tend to do a lot during the 90s, I mean, but we'll say that for another talking point. What were you gonna say, Final? You're fixing to say something.
Yeah, just gonna say another one of my favorite episodes, Bloodlines, which is the second episode that features Nightcrawler.
Well, not just him.
So,
yeah, but it's also, we learn about Nightcrawler's heritage. We also learn about his mom, who turns out to be Mystique, and we also learn about his connection to Graydon Creed, and we also do see the Friends of Humanity, which are now in cloaks somehow.
looking like the KKK. Looking like the Quarryman from the Goliath Chronicles.
Yeah.
Before the Goliath Chronicles.
And also, the Bloodlines, it is an adaptation of several issues of Uncanny X-Men, as well as X-Men Volume 2.
Right. And I've even seen a clip of it that's actually kind of one of my favorites, of seeing the Friends of Humanity giving the creator, Graydon Creed, exactly what it deserves by confronting his dad, and Sabretooth just goes, "Well, if it ain't the famous Slayer of Mutants, or should I call you my son? We got a lot to discuss here. Come to Papa."
And we haven't heard anything from him since.
Yeah, we're not even gonna follow up on that arc.
Well, I'm surprised X-Men 97 didn't even touch on that.
Oh god, they never did. They never ever did.
I was waiting for him at least to pop up with no legs and no arms. At least.
Or hell, that probably would have been just the end of him anyway.
I mean, he would essentially be crippled, unless he connects with someone and gave him cybernetic limbs, essentially making him a Reaver, even though he's not part of said team.
But no, instead we now got homoerotic Morph, who is suddenly being a dick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, they made him non-binary and a jerk?
Yeah, next
Yeah,
They're
it's
not-
his sexual orientation.
He's kind of a jerk wingman. Is what.
In X-Men 97, even though that's
And
not.
Cyclops is suddenly cocky for some reason, even though he's supposed to be a more level-headed leader. and takes away the dynamic between him and Wolverine.
I think
I
they
do
might
not
have.
mind that.
This is
aspect
just
about
speculation here, but I think they probably took all the bad writing from X-Men TAS and decided, yes, this is what we'll base it on.
I don't mind Cyclops acting like that because he was like that in the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Sure,
True.
I'll surrender. Not. Yeah, I was like, yeah, you give it to him, Cyclops. Decapitate that sucker. I was like, what? He deserves every badass movie whenever they allow him to have one. Jesus Christ, man! When he said not, I always copy that shit. Like, sure, not. Get my ass back.
But look, we will cross that bridge of X-Men 97 in the future. But let's get back
And
on
you're
track
gonna
on
see
season
me
4.
rant on that.
Look, man, we
Yay.
gotta maintain a level head as well as we are talking about this objectively.
Mhm.
Do
What?
true.
What about the two-part of One Man's Worth?
One man's word.
I
as,
like that one. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Dom.
No, that one is actually one of my favorites from season 4 as one of those hits because even though it is a loose adaptation of Age of Apocalypse, the
Mhm.
show similar to how they handle the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga, the showrunner as well as writers they worked with what they had and made it work while also like getting the watchers interested in checking out the original source material, the Age of Apocalypse. However, it is recommended that you read Legion's Quest first before starting Age of Apocalypse.
Right. And one detail that most people did notice, I even noticed this, that despite the fact that Gambit is still around during the Dark Future, and Rogue comes in, and she is wearing a long coat, and that is supposed to be Gambit's jacket, even though Gambit already has his jacket on.
I believe she wants to match with him.
Mm.
Well, I was just going to say, in a season that wasn't that great, I did like the two-parter of One Man's Worth. I didn't think it was too bad. I thought it was a pretty good episode. Is this the one in the future where Storm and Wolverine hook up?
Yeah,
It's not
suddenly,
really, not really
it's
the
the one
future,
where-
it's the present.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
it hints at it in the present where they're flirting. They're outside, they're having a little picnic, and Wolverine starts to flirt with her. And I didn't mind that.
Yeah,
It's very
because for
interesting.
whatever weird reason, during the 70s and 80s, there's been plenty of comic book material where Storm and Wolverine are suddenly a couple.
Yeah.
Or at least like hint.
It's
Because
hinted at.
And this was before her Aurora's and Forge's romance,
Mm.
and of course,
Right.
eventual friendship, which then turned into a romance.
Right.
Right. But for the sake of this episode, yeah.
Just not sure what even Aurora ever sees in Logan.
That's interesting. I want to ask you guys, how do you feel about them hooking them up? I
thought
think
X-Men
I think
Evolution
it's-
was just strange for hooking up Cyclops with Rogue because there's that weird love triangle bit.
Well,
I'm not saying they didn't hook up, but for some reason the producers, even though they did follow through with Cyclops and Jean being a couple there, but for some reason to add to the love triangle, they replaced Wolverine with Rogue. For some reason, the producers of the Evolution love shipping Cyclops with Rogue.
they were taking cues from not just the X-Men film series, but also Ultimate X-Men from the Ultimate Marvel Universe.
Mm.
Well, the thing is, it's like what Danilo said. He has a thing for redheads.
But
Even
but
though
Anna-
Rogue is a
Anna Marie-
brunette.
Anna Marie's a brunette, not a redhead.
She close.
I mean, her
Oh,
hair is a light brown.
In the sunlight, it turn red.
I don't know.
You look hard.
I mean, wait, is her dad a redhead?
Nah, her dad is a brown head.
Who are you talking about? Rogue?
Rogue.
Bro,
Yeah, Rogue, Anna Marie.
they always depict her with red hair.
Despite the
Always.
fact she's a brunette.
Well, they got some colorblind motherfuckers working in the coloring department. Because every single time I've seen her, she's always redhead.
It's the lighting, but that's beside the point.
It's definitely the lighting and definitely wrong color choices. But the thing is, in the case of X-Men Evolution, you could chalk that up to just teen romance. Because somebody got eyes for somebody. You know, she's just trying to Rogue and Evolution was kind of like still working out her power situation. She just discovered she hurt people by touching them, but she still wanted to try to have that connection. It's all about that connection.
And
So
this is also after Mystique like potentially lied to her about the X-Men.
But
and
before
yet Gambit
that,
doesn't even join the show until sometime later.
That's in season 2. He's one of the acolytes in season 2. But the reason why they weren't necessarily pushing a romance, a love triangle, if you will, between those three, is because the reason why Rogue had interest in him is because despite what happened with their initial meeting, quote unquote, he showed willing to connect with her. And Cyclops in that show is kind of like he was portrayed to be this one guy that you would talk to, that you always had a good feeling about sharing your confidant, if you will. That's why him and Kirk connected in that series. They were like the it guys, you know. They were brothers. So he was. I'll talk in depth about that when we revisit Evolution. But he's meant to be like the big brother kind of. He's basically learned his leadership role, which is the true call is the leader, which is not necessarily trying to be your friend or anything. He just got that spark about him. It's like what you said. He's the Boy Scout. He's showing compassion, and that's why Rogue took an interest in him. Because even Kitty herself kind of had a little bit of a spark there, though she didn't pursue because she was all about Lance at the time. Avalanche, for those who don't know.
Oh
yeah, and as also his name in the comics isn't even Lance; it's actually Dominic, and he's of Greek descent.
But yeah, he's Lance in the. Again, more on that later. They flub up the names in Evolution a lot, especially Magneto and Toad. They kind of simplify his name, but I digress.
Yeah. So
I guess by us tripping all over the place, regardless, our favorite episodes seem to be the 2-parter One Man's Worth, Nightcrawler, though again, that's a mixed bag for me. Bloodlines, which is the best episode. Nothing to say about Weapon X, Lies, and the Videotape.
What was that? You have to remind me, what was the plot of that again?
It's the one where Wolverine was thinking of certain events, and yet suddenly they're not like the way they're supposed to be, and yet there are other people who are involved with Weapon X.
Which is also an adaptation of another issue from X-Men, as well as Wolverine's solo title.
Silver Fox and
Maverick.
Wait, let's go back to this one. Silver Fox and slipped my mind that quick.
Yeah, Silver Fox, Maverick, and Sabretooth.
And Sabretooth. Okay, yeah.
Those are the three other people who are also involved in the Weapon X program. And funny enough, we saw Maverick only like twice in the earlier seasons of this show, and yet now we see him directly. Yeah, mainly in flashbacks, and the one time when Morph changes into him during season 2, and then suddenly, I'm so surprised we never even get to manage to see Deadpool still. Though again, because of the damn rights issue.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry.
I would say like what does make that episode tragic with is the stinger at the end where we see that see the romance as well as the peaceful times that Logan and Silver Fox had together was real.
Let me correct. Final
Yeah,
real
that's
quick.
what I have to agree with you that too, Dom. You
Let me
know,
correct
for him.
Final real quick. Deadpool was almost fair game around those times. Almost. It's just they didn't really use him as much when he was when he was fair use around those times because even before he had his own movie, before he had his own solo game, he was in a lot of media. Believe it or not, his debut was as you played before Marvel Ultimate Alliance. You know that's what. In fact, Ultimate Alliance is where I first discovered Deadpool. In fact. And ever since then, I put him at the back of my mind until, say, the Hulk versus Wolverine, when he showed back up again, and then they started announcing his solo film, which they came out with that test footage for the movie itself. Ryan Reynolds and his team. Of course, you had his next appearance in Ultimate Alliance 2. Then later on, his solo. Well, he showed up again in Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
Then Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Then he got his own solo game. And then that's where he gets his movie franchise going.
Yeah, but also. Yeah, also like the reason why that was like that if Holmes lies in Weapon X, it was during a time where the higher ups of Marvel decided to retcon that particular point of Logan's history, like that peaceful time between him and Silver Fox. Fox decided to make her a villain. And even though that's completely unnecessary as well as out of character because she was never established as such.
That's why I didn't like her in this episode.
Yeah, I have to agree. I kind of felt for I gotta admit I had to felt for Logan for a minute because saying that the peaceful time in his life was false is really a cruel twist of fate for him.
Now,
No. He wasn't sure whether
Yeah,
that peaceful
okay.
time with him and Silver Fox was real or not. But again, with the
Oh.
stinger, where you see the carving with their initials, it shows that was a real memory.
Right, yeah, that it was a real memory for him. Yeah.
Well, no, it's more. No, it's more. Even she is unsure if that time between him was real or not.
I'm still trying to the fact that they try to make him and Yu-Gi-Oh lovers too when they were not.
Wait, are you talking about him? I'm talking about him and Lady Deathstrike.
Mm-hmm.
That was a missed opportunity of '92 for not introducing Mariko Yoshida,
Right.
Something's cousin.
I hate to go back to the other episode about One Man's Worth, but I was just curious to see how people feel about the buddy romance between Storm and Logan. I'm getting to think that maybe over a period of
I
time.
wanted it to happen as a kid.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it.
I was in no way weirded out by that. I wanted them to be an item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still find it so strange because again, what does Aurora ever see in Logan?
You
That's
need
the
to be
question.
asking that for every woman.
You feel Logan does not have qualities that make him lovable?
I mean, I would see him more so as an ally, but as a lover, I don't think they would even get along so well because Wolverine is known for being a savage for a reason.
Hey, savages need love too.
Yes, I think he wants to be.
He's more of a noble.
Love.
Well, he's a noble savage, and yes, he has family around. And 9 times out of 10, his love life has not really been very successful.
No,
You don't have to worry about
very
Sabretooth
tragic.
coming in and kill Aurora. Aurora will electrocute his ass, fry his
Mhm.
ass, blow his ass up in the air.
I mean, of course, because people underestimate how powerful Storm really is, and really they've done this with a lot of members of the X-Men, Cyclops
Homegirl
included.
freaking blew an ambulance out of the way from a collision with just the wind.
Oh yeah, I've never underestimated Storm's power. I've never underestimated
speeches
it.
like Rogue said.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's funny because I'm old enough now. I used to be always good, all for Storm making them wild speeches. But as an adult, I'm like, oh my goodness, they really ran out of things for this woman to say, did they? Because some of the stuff that she say in season 3, I'm like, they are seriously running out of things for this woman to say when she commands the weather, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they always she always has a great big, like she's casting a spell. I summon the great winds of the north to
Winds,
yes,
freeze them in place.
yes,
Let none escape.
yes. Feel the wrath of your mistress commands you to freeze them solid. I always said that.
Thunder strikes. Come forth. They always have this brief pause, and they finish the speech.
Yes, it's one. I don't think it's a speech. It's more like she's casting some sort of great spell that she has.
Was described as being a weather witch, but
yes,
she was described as being a weather witch. But at the same time, she was also noted to be more of a weather goddess in her origins.
That's a whole can of worms that we're not going to get into. Because that's really not her. That's not her origin story per se. You can ask Janelle about that.
Oh,
I almost believed it completely wholesale.
Yeah, no, she was actually born in America. She was born in America. However, she ended up living in Africa for years after the plane that her and her family was living in got crashed. And also where her claustrophobia came from.
Right. Oh. Yes, that's very true.
Which they do touch upon it a few times in some of these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I was going to say I don't know if we're going to be bringing this up, but I love, in just an FYI little note, I love the part in the episode of Spider-Man when he teams up with the X-Men and he sort of mocks
the Mutant Agenda.
Yeah. And he sort of mocks Storm's speeches before she uses her powers. Spider-Man says something on the line of, anybody remembers this episode of, I forgot exactly what he says, but he hears Storm.
Oh,
and then
Buddy Smith already pointed out. Power of web shooters get real sticky.
Yes. So I thought that was
hold on, but let's not forget that like a rather underrated but still nonetheless a dangerous villain in the Marvel Universe. The Purple Man made his debut in intermission through X-Men 92.
Oh yeah, that was in season 3.
Of No Man is an Island.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Right.
That's true. However, in this episode, we actually encounter a mutant-only anti-human group called the Children of the Shadows, which shows there's the other side of the coin, where you have the Friends of Humanity, but you also have groups composed of mutants that are actively hurting other humans as well as mutants.
Buddy Smith, you're right. Yeah. I didn't mind No Man is an Island, getting to know more of Cyclops a bit on the show, even though yes, it is out of order, but I didn't mind the episode and sort of him going back to the orphanage that he was in and meeting the woman that ran it, and looked like he was moving on past Jean, but that changed when because he was sort of getting a little romance with the woman who runs the orphanage. So I didn't think the episode was too bad.
Friend.
Yes. So I get what you're saying. So I didn't mind that episode too bad. I know we've been talking about Cyclops a lot lately, but I didn't mind the fact that we get to see his backstory and while he was there, and also why perhaps he was chosen to be leader of the X-Men, because he sensed, even though he was there among them, he wasn't with the X-Men, he still sensed something was not right about what was going on, and he knew something else was going on with this man that was contributing to this orphanage, that he has sinister plan behind.
Yeah, I mean, because that's also the thing about knowing about Cyclops, sorry, Dom, is that he also can very much tell body language very well. He can also pinpoint as to what your next move might as well be. Because he is also a very, very capable fighter.
And a tactician too. I mean, first we witnessed that, like in him discovering like Purple Man, Kilgrave's like true intentions, like with the orphanage. Well, we also see like what was going on like in this community that he visited, that something sinister was lurking beneath this utopian facade. And when he learns about the Children of the Shadows and how they were just as bad as Magneto and the Brotherhood, as well as the Friends of Humanity, he knows that they need to be stopped in spite of any sympathetic backstories that they have, or why they turn out the way they do.
Mm-hmm.
They're still actively hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And there's another Cyclops episode in that season. I forgot which one it was. It's the one where he goes to visit the doctor, and it's really a Western inspired episode of X-Men, because the way it's structured and the way it goes down, it feels more like a Western, starring Cyclops as the main character of all people. And I'm looking up the episode right now.
Is that the one where he's on some island with other mutants?
Secrets Not Long Buried.
Yeah, is that the one? Yeah, and he meets there are other mutants there.
Yeah.
This is okay. I see the one you're talking about. Yeah.
That's the episode with the children of the Shadows.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know. Thanks, Dom. I couldn't remember what they were called. I forgot. But okay, I do remember that episode. Yeah, and I kind of liked him in that episode too. So you're right. It does show him capable of fighting, but again, it shows you why perhaps. And I don't think he was so much of a jerk in that episode. I like the fact it showed him that, again, why perhaps he was chosen to be the leader of the X-Men. There is a inner leadership spirit in Scott, and it comes through in that particular episode. I mean, I don't know if anybody else can sense it, but I sensed it in that episode. So I'll give him points for that.
As I mentioned before, he can read people through body language to ascertain their true character.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But damn, we're just about an hour in, and I felt like we've just talked about everything about this season.
Well, we haven't really touched on Beyond Good and Evil in its entirety, because it was intended as the series finale for X-Men 92.
Yeah, I could feel that, because I would have said, if I had it my way, that would have been, did you say season finale or series finale?
Series finale.
It should have been should have been the series finale. If I have to be honest, it should have been their series finale. I do agree with that. It wasn't the best, but it would have been a great way to end. It would have been a good, not great, but a good note to end the series on. Because that's what it felt like watching that. That's what it felt like. It felt like it was a series finale, because I felt watching it at this point, what else could the show do? I felt like after the Phoenix Saga, they got stuck. They're like, the Dark Phoenix Saga, they got stuck. It's like the writers said, we're stuck. We just don't know what other stories to tell with these characters. I really felt that when we got to this season. That's why I don't have too much to say, because I felt like at this point, the writer, they just were stuck. It's just like they just did not know where else to go because both those Phoenix sagas were so intense that and where could you go from that? I mean, seriously, I think the producers should have said, guys, we need to stop it right here. There's no more stories to tell. We've done everything else we could have done.
Yeah, well, the reason why season 5 was made because at the last minute, Saban actually reached out to the showrunners as well as the crew to actually make another season.
Saban
That was a mistake.
Saban has always been that way for years. At this point. It's really sad to say at least. I mean, Neil Saban. People like to say Neil Saban is terrible, especially with the way how they were handling Power Rangers at the time. But make no mistake, Saban original wasn't as good either.
Yeah, because again, that is also very evident to Power Rangers. Because the moment they ran out of Zero Ranger footage and a little bit of Die Ranger footage, because they brought in the Kiba Ranger suit from that show, from Die Ranger, and they thought, you know what, fuck it, let's just use Kaku Ranger footage, which they fucked up long time ago from that, because they should have brought in the Die Ranger suits in season 2, and yet they brought in the Die Ranger suits and other pre-Zero Ranger Sentai teams in Super Mega Force.
We don't talk about Mega Force or Super Mega Force.
We don't talk about Neil Saban at all.
Look, we'll touch on Power Rangers in a future episode. Not an animation spotlight, but
as a series retrospective.
Yes.
Yeah. Serious discussion.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is, you guys don't believe me when I say.
And one thing I also pointed out at the end of the episode of Beyond Good and Evil is funny to know. Wait, Xavier can walk now? Because he was standing next to Magneto, and he wasn't even in his chair.
He wasn't even held up. They forgot.
At least in season 2, there was the series established why Charles can walk, even though he is crippled from the waist down.
Right.
But in Beyond Good and Evil, okay. So they're in a space between, they're in a dimension between time and space. That's a stretch from how it was explained in season 2 when him and Eric were in the Savage Lands. But it's fine for what it was, but it could have been done better. Well, also, it is worth mentioning that in this originally intended series finale, we also saw Immortus, another Marvel Universe villain, who is mainly a foe of the Avengers.
Oh yeah, and this is even another thing, a pretty cool detail in on One Man's Worth. It is actually in the future. Wait, we see the darker versions of the Avengers in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we saw X-Men and Avengers in One Man's Worth.
There was this one episode featuring Wanda and Pietro. The High Evolutionary.
Yeah, which is an adaptation of Avengers numbers 185 through 187.
AKA X-Men meets Dr. Moreau.
Yes. In other words, the reveal of the relations between the twins and Magneto.
So we saw Magneto's daughter, biological daughter, Polaris, who is part of X-Force during the show. Or X-Factor, I meant, sorry, not X-Force. And now we see the other two children of Magneto, his stepchildren, who are supposed to be stepchildren, because they keep changing out the relationships of these
We're not going to use the bullcrap retcon from Marvel. Pietro and Wanda, they are the children of Eric Lehnsherr, aka Max Eisenhardt Magneto. Okay?
Yes, that's what I've always believed. Yeah, that's what I've always believed.
So he saw his actual daughter and then the other two children that he had. And I forgot how I was gonna go with this.
Okay, I stepped away for a minute. Are we talking about, is the episode about Wanda and Pietro in this season?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, all right, yeah, I forgot about that episode. Well, I
Oh
will
yeah,
give...
no, I was gonna
Okay,
say.
go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead. Now, say
So now we see the two children of Magneto that a lot of people actually recognize since those two fought in the Avengers.
yeah, for those who are new to the Avengers and they go back and look at the episode, yeah, they'll recognize it. But for some of us who watched this before Avengers Age of Ultron came out,
Or,
we know
or
in the back of our
comics
heads
before Age of Ultron.
Right,
yeah,
right, yeah.
yeah, in the comics we knew exactly who, which is why it's disappointing in the films, because I'm saying how they screwed that up. I know it's a rights issue and everything, but it really would have been
Which
cool
is still bullshit.
if they could have, yeah, if they could have connected them to Magneto. You know, that could have been some cool stuff that they could have done, you know, with that. I'm thinking even with the WandaVision show, you could have found some way to connect them to Eric, because those are his offspring. All of us fans know that. So for them to just, no, we'll just gloss over that. It's really stupid and a missed opportunity. But I'm not going to rant too much on that. I'll save that for the show that the Heroes and Villains show Don has. But I'm just saying how disappointed it was. We couldn't get that on screen. You know, the whole true story of you know, because I always tell people or normies that I talk to about Wanda, I say, well, Wanda's actually connected to the X-Men. She's like a window to the X-Men from the Avengers. She's part of that group as well. And they say, no, kid. I said, yeah, she is. She's really more of a mutant than anything. She's not, her powers are not genetically born in a lab. She was born with the abilities that she has. The movie, Disney has changed it to be that, but in actuality, she is a mutant, and she could have been,
And
if
for
somebody
some
had a
reason,
brain.
her powers, which yeah, they're magic, but they mainly cause vague bad luck. And now she suddenly, as the comics went on, she suddenly has powers to suddenly bend reality as though she were Doctor Strange.
Yeah, so essentially, her X gene gives her a natural affinity to chaos magic.
Right, exactly. And see, if somebody had a brain over there, Disney, which we know they don't, that is the character you could have opened the door for the X-Men to come through cinematic wise, because of the connection that she has to them, and that would make a lot of sense. But we all know they don't have brains over there at Disney. I was about to ask
No one
something.
with any rights issues because of 20th Century Fox, because X-Men Days of Future Past was still being hyped up when Age of Ultron was coming out.
Yeah. That's why I kind of figured fine. I kind of figured, well, there's probably some legal ramifications going on why they cannot do that. But once that was taken care of, and I'm thinking when she got WandaVision, that would have been. Now I'm hearing.
When it comes to things like that, in that case, like I've always touted, rights issues. It's also part of what they. It's also part of the situation that was going on with the DCAU at the time, when it came down to making extra shows outside of Batman the animated series and trying to fit some things in, trying to make sure that things don't cross over and mess with the order of events, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it was a silly thing called, we didn't want confusion for the case of Age of Ultron and Days of Future Past, because we had Pietro for the Days of Future Past, and we also had Pietro for Age of Ultron, which was interesting that anybody allowed that. In fact, people allowed that. The studios allowed that.
Yeah,
to
that
have
is interesting.
two Quicksilvers to exist at the same time. That was strange.
Also, as a correction, like the Mind Stone, it didn't really give the twins of the MCU their powers. It merely awakened them. However, obviously they can't use the term mutants.
Right. I knew at the time they couldn't use it.
Well, also, yeah, because like the closest you'll ever get of calling people born with powers, and instead of gaining powers through external stimuli, like the closest was gifted.
Mm-hmm. Then in any
Also,
case, that should have been. In any case, they might as well would have called it the Witch Breed if it's gonna be a reference to Marvel 1602, because that's the stand-in for the mutants in that Elseworld story.
yeah, which is also it is worth mentioning like that. Oh, also it's a dishonorable mention. This was during a time where Marvel Comics was actively trying to like minimize the X-Men and the Avengers influence in the comics by putting the Inhumans in the forefront.
Boy, you've been quiet. You want to add something?
I was reading Bubba Smith's comment. Well, I heard rumor now. Rumor has it. Is this a rumor? They're going to do another Wanda movie, and I guess they're saying they're going to course correct. I don't know what that means. We'll just have to wait and see. But it looks like they want to try again with Wanda. So God knows what else what else they're going to do. They're going to course correct with her character, her history, and so forth. So I don't know what that means. But I heard that's what they're going to try to do with Wanda. I heard they're going to try to give her
Well, rumors
her second, her own.
aside. Rumors aside, if you want a proper WandaVision, excuse me, or read the original miniseries Vision and the Scarlet Witch from the 80s.
See, right. The problem with I agree with you, Dom, and I think that's why Multiverse of Madness sucked, is because they were trying to do the storyline of where she gets rid of all the mutants, where she says no more mutants and all the mutants are gone and all that blah blah blah. They didn't know, they messed that up just as badly as they messed up the Dark Phoenix saga. They really didn't know that. Yeah, they really didn't know that story. They really didn't. They just chipped and picked what they felt would work in a film, and that's why it was such a bunch of goggly gunk in Multiverse of Madness, because I just think they just did not research.
And yet they're subtly bringing in the X-Men now, because now we got Patrick Stewart as Charles Xavier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and now they thought that they could win the audience over by here.
And they're now doing Fantastic Four now, because they got the original actor for Reed Richards from the 2000s Fantastic Four films, and yet we also have a whole new cast of the Fantastic Four characters, which are not all that great, because it's very much out of character, very much out of place for casting Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, of all people.
Oh, I totally agree. I think Pascal's overrated as an actor, personally. It's just me. But
so apparently the same guy who's known for playing cowboys in Kingsman 2 and playing a Mandalorian is now suddenly fit to play Reed Richards. If anything, he would probably even fit to play Doctor Doom for all I care.
Yeah.
He should be Doctor Doom.
Yes, that's what he should have been. That's what I agree with you. He should have been. But you got those out there. I think he's okay. I think it might work out. Just give the chance to the movie to be.
We're gonna have another situation with the actor from Nip Tuck, where they're gonna find an excuse to keep showing his face when his face is gonna be covered and scarred.
Right. That's what I thought. I thought Dr. Doom was disfigured. Yeah, that's what I always thought. I said, why do they keep showing?
But then again, it's as Matthew Flynn pointed out as we were discussing Fantastic Four for the 2000s Marvel films, it's pretty much up to the writer as to how damaged Dr. Doom's face really is.
All right.
It should be to the point where it's unrecognizable. Where where he doesn't want anybody to see his face like that.
Mm-hmm.
Go on.
Well, as readers, we have seen like what he looks like without the mask, and it's like it's shocking like to the characters in universe and out of universe.
Some depictions will have it looking not as bad, but that's not how Doom sees it.
Right.
He sees he is so far up his own ass that that's what I mean. Really. That's what
I know.
But he's so far up his own ass that he believes that his face is sculpted and cannot be touched.
Mm-hmm.
No sooner if
which
he
is why
he
ran away to the mountains because of that single scar. Yeah, that scratch from that single scar that he had when he blew up the time machine in his room. That's where he got that, especially why he ran away to the mountains.
He ran to the
Although
mountains
he was also expelled from that college for causing the explosion too.
Oh yeah.
He was up on the mountains of the Arcane. I think he
he wants to
sacrifice his mom.
Well, yeah, he wants to rescue his mom from Mephisto.
Yeah, right. That's the reason why he invented that machine. I don't know why I called it a time machine, because it's really a portal to hell. Though then again, going back to, I mentioned Marvel 1602, because even Dr. Doom's face was just that perfect in 1602 and then was damaged later in the story.
Mm-hmm. Well, with all that being said, we can actually touch on the Fantastic Four animated series in the future because it was still to this day it remains a very much true to the text faithful adaptation of the comic book series.
Mm-hmm.
Even in Sanctuary,
we may have to cover Iron Man first before we do that.
Yeah, but I will say to briefly go back to Sanctuary, Black Panther he was actually seen like as a cameo in Sanctuary before he received his full appearance in Fantastic Four, and as a bonus, he was voiced by Keith David himself.
Funny enough, there was a lot of cameos, especially in Beyond Good and Evil. You even saw Moondragon amongst the psychics.
Oh yeah, because it's just again like with the showrunner and the husband and wife duo that was part of the writing staff. They wanted to show people that the Marvel animated universe is like vast and connected. However, each of the shows didn't need to constantly reference each other because they are their own standalone thing.
Mm-hmm. Because Stan Lee even believed in this principle way back when for Marvel, that every single comic is everybody's first comic. In fact, during the 80s and 90s, the X-Men were still a relatively new team, even back in the 70s, even when they first appeared in the 60s. That's why they had to reintroduce the X-Men with every single issue.
Also in the original Lee and Kirby run, where you see members of the public adoring and congratulate the X-Men. Heck, I remember this one issue.
And a lot of the ladies really love Angel.
Oh yeah. You even have like military and government officials like congratulating the X-Men as well, in addition to like giving them tips. Like when it comes to like what is going on.
Yeah, because the X-Men, funny enough, started off as a traditional superhero team when they first appeared. Before the 70s later rebooted them, and yet they became a little more complex, and this is when the running conflict with X-Men has always been prejudice.
Yeah, I mean, even in the original Lee and Kirby run, you do have prejudice, but
that's present
in the background.
Yeah,
it was in the background. Like even in the in the 70s and 80s, like when they were given a fresh coat of paint with Len Wein, Dave Cockrum, Byrne, and Claremont. Well, you still will see instances of people like congratulating the X-Men as well as admiring them, showing people to remind people that not everyone hates and fears mutants.
Very
Oh boy,
true.
you're alive. Humble.
Is your mic active?
You there, Humble? Maybe she's having internet.
I think you need to refresh. She probably was talking, and we don't hear her.
Yeah, and we can't hear. Humble, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
I think your mic. Yeah, your mic's probably not even active. It's probably you probably have the mute button on.
No, her mic is shut off. I think that her.
No, not on StreamYard, but her microphone, her actual microphone.
Or disconnect and reconnect her microphone. Because I'm pretty sure she wanted to say a lot of things.
However, her Wi-Fi is being finicky at the most inappropriate time.
Yeah, I understand that feeling. I understand that feeling when your Wi-Fi just gets a little funky. But if you're listening to us, Humble, if you're we can't hear you.
Mm.
By the time the stream starts.
I will say. I will say before we shut things down, in spite of season 4's flaws, it was able to strike the landing, even if it was just barely.
Right.
I'm scared, yeah. I'm scared.
Scared of what?
Yeah, what are you scared of?
Oh.
I don't know. Don't look, man. We'll endure it.
For one reason only.
Because
the phalanx.
Yeah.
Oh.
What I will say, just read the original Phalanx Covenant.
Nah, them motherfuckers scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Well, I mean, heck, they were terrifying when they made their debut in the comics because they were essentially the Marvel Universe's the Borg, or just as the Brood or the Xenomorphs.
Oh my god! Look at the names of these episodes.
Yeah, the Broods. Those are the monsters that you saw in the intro that look like that Magneto summoned from the ground. Because apparently they are made of metal somehow, even though they're not.
Yeah, they're not insectoids. Once again, they were inspired by the Xenomorphs from Alien.
Right.
Still an awesome opening.
Yeah, I won't deny that opening is freaking awesome, especially because of that song.
No, the Japanese should have made an anime like that.
Like, okay, we got Magneto as our main villain. What's his powers? It's literally obvious. He's called Magneto. He controls metal. Okay, let's have him summon the Broods as though he commands them.
I mean, not just metal. No, he has control of the electromagnetic spectrum.
Right. Yeah, anything that is magnetic.
But also, he can take metal from your body because iron.
Yeah, that's what I was about
to
say.
Which has led to a very fucking terrifying thing where he literally rips out Wolverine's adamantium skeleton.
In Fatal Attraction,
that is brutal and horrifying.
Yeah, also, you see in like Magneto, Max uses powers on Bishop, like in the beginning of Age of Apocalypse, where he actually slowed down like the blood in his body to knock him out.
I'm still conflicted by that. About Magneto ripping the adamantium out of Wolverine's bones. I don't care how powerful he can manipulate the metal. He should not be able to bend adamantium the way he did. Sure, adamantium is supposed to be magic metal, technically.
Yes.
Where it's supposed to be the hardest metal on the planet. If nothing else, what should have been more brutal is the fact that he ripped his whole skeleton out of his body. That's what he should have did. Where he just pulls individual skeleton bones out of his body from the phalanges to the femur to the clavicle and the maxilla, just individually taking out of his body. That's what should have happened.
Yet, he uses powers uses powers on Wolverine by turning the adamantium like into liquid metal and then ripped it out.
Yeah, somehow he's able to liquefy it. How? In fact, there's supposed to be a high temperature to be able to melt adamantium, or at least like keep it hot until the fabrication process. Because it's such a hard metal once it's cooled down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a cool image. It's cool imagery for sure. But looking back at it now, it's like that should not have been possible for him to do that. The only thing he could have done was rip the whole skeleton out like he's Mortal Kombat out of Wolverine. That right there, I can say would have just killed his ass right there. And don't give me that bullshit about a single cell and all that nonsense.
Yeah, it's a skeleton. The healing factor's in his blood, not in his skeleton.
I mean, what they're trying to say is if he has bone marrow, which bullshit. If he has no arteries to go with it, it ain't gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole skeleton. Even if they decide to put him in a tank full of flesh-eating virus or acid, it's like, no, you don't. That's excessive. You don't even need to do all that shit. It's kind of silly that one time had him as a skeleton standing in the middle of a nuclear explosion. But it's a little cool effect. He's got healing factor. He can do that. And I was like, yeah, I'll accept it. I don't know fuck at this point.
I am curious.
Just like the fact that his blood can heal leech. As fun as that was, or at least as heartwarming as that was, that should not have worked. Reason being, even if his blood can do that, he stated, going back to the Christmas episode, he stated there might be a 1 in a million chance. And here's the reason why he said it. They don't outright state it because the writers are stupid. They didn't pass their medical degrees. Who's to say what blood type is he, or what blood type is leech? They're administering an unsafe blood transfusion. You're supposed to make sure they have the same blood type.
Well, in order like for the transfusion to be done safely, if we're going for realism, if Wolverine's blood is a universal blood donor, like as a type O and an AB negative, that would make sense. However, if it's not a universal blood type where a person is able to freely donate the blood and give it to others, then yeah, it does like stretches the suspension of disbelief to its limit, because it will stop some people think, wait a minute, even though I'm not a whiz in medical science, even I know that's not how it should work.
Yeah, it was weird. It's even weirder when it came down to Angel, the Chuck Austin run, where he has the ability to heal people with his own blood through blood transfusions. Like, no, I don't give a damn what kind of healing properties his blood is. If that person is not the same blood type as Angel, or if Angel's not a universal blood type, that person is fucked. Or worse, diseased.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving them you're giving them VD that way. It's like, man, this man loved giving people AIDS in his comic book.
Oh my god! Wild.
You know what? You know what? That's what I'm gonna call the Austin run, the AIDS era, the AIDS run. Because everybody should have had AIDS in that damn run. Everybody was
Oh, my-
everybody was nasty in that run.
Oh
Everybody.
my goodness.
Almost in particular, almost Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was almost nasty, but then everybody was nasty in that. Jesus Christ, Chuck Austin was weird. He was weird during that run.
Oh, we could touch more on that in a.
Crow, fucking Stacy. He had a mutant prostitute named Stacy.
Oh my
X.
goodness. Wolf
Oh.
Wolf is on his rant.
Oh God.
Had
Oh,
Jordan
my
up
goodness.
on the She-Hulk, although people didn't mind that. I hated it. That was dumb. Have a fucking fish dude fucking
Finals.
a bug girl got babies by her. Was that
Oh, my-
Austin or was that somebody else?
No. So that was like the characters you were referencing. Well, you are referencing. Let me rephrase that. Are Beak and Angel Salvador, respectively.
No, not fish dude. Big
Yeah,
boy.
final
Big
reading is Book of
boy.
Spells.
Big boy.
No, it's
girl.
Beak.
Final reading
Yeah,
is
that's his
Book of
code name,
Spells.
Beak.
But I'm calling him Big Boy. That's my nickname for him.
Oh, he has his Book of
Big-
Spells out.
Yeah, Big Boy and Butt Girl making
Oh my
babies,
God.
making her a single mother.
Well, that was Grant Morrison who did that. No, not Austin.
Dude, that should be the single mother era with his ass.
Oh.
Because a whole lot of bitches was single mothers during that era with his ass. Yeah, Chuck Austin was the AIDS era, and Morrison was the single mother era. Or at least everybody was acting like single mothers in that motherfucking run.
Like I said, man, we can touch more on that. We can touch more on those runs in a future episode of the Real Millennials.
And then this motherfucker had the nerve to make some homophobic slurs about North Star. So he was the AIDS epidemic.
Yeah, oh, goodness.
That's what we call him from now on. Chuck AIDS.
Oh,
Because everything he touched turns to AIDS.
oh God, Lord.
And everything got to do with blood in his run.
Oh, my
had
goodness.
Jubilee all nailed to a cross along with
Oh, my
other
good-
dudes.
What? You have final reading is Book of Spells.
Jesus Christ, that was a.
I don't. What,
I'm surprised I was sticking around through that motherfucker.
Hey man, I was reading that run too.
Hey,
how did we get
at
to
that
this?
time, Because I was reading his run during high school, and I had to be a horny teenager to be going through that
No.
shit.
Oh my!
The reason why the reason I stuck around with that run because it was out of morbid curiosity of where is he gonna end this?
Icarus, don't even get me started on Icarus. Icarus was sleeping with the Capulet version of a redneck family.
How did we get to this subject of mutants with AIDS from X season 4?
Chuck, I'm just saying, there was so much
Oh my
nasty
God.
shit Chuck Austin was doing during that run. You might as well call it AIDS. Like, I'm surprised nobody got a venereal disease during
Oh
that
my
run.
Lord.
So much nasty shit happened during that run.
Final is going
Look-
to finish his
look,
Book of
Wolf.
Spells by the time you're done.
Look, Wolf, it's a blessing in disguise that the showrunner and the writers of X-Men 92 like didn't even attempt to adapt the Onslaught event.
They might as well.
Are you
For season
finished?
5, they might as well. They were
So-
setting
so
that shit up.
I guess
when
not.
Wolverine,
I guess
when
that-
Wolverine said McNeil's
Saying
ass,
final.
and he said,
saying I
look at this.
Oh,
Saving McNeil. I must be
How much time?
Charles.
Almost 2 hours.
Look
Yes.
at this. I'm saving Wolverine. I must be an X-Man. It's a series related.
I'm
Are you finally
concerned.
done?
Yes, he's done with his rant.
Look away.
Okay.
Okay.
Next thing you know, he's just gonna clip that, and then he makes it into another one of his epic rants, just like he did with Ridley Scott, where we were talking about the Dark Knight films.
How can anyone forget that?
That's one
Hey,
way.
we
of
could
getting
never
me
forget
on a
that. That's
roll.
already set in stone. He already did that. He already made that
That's
clear.
that's easy one way of getting me on a roll because there are a lot of dudes out there, writers specifically, that I just classify as the slimiest bile of human filth and vileness. Just goodness gracious.
No, buddy. Also, when he took on X-Men, he tried to be Warren Ellis.
Yeah, that's the reason why Jubilee was nailed to a cross. That his one called
Oh dear.
God Kills, Human Saves, or some shit like that.
Yeah, the people who did that, along with the other characters, were the Church of Humanity.
He even used Nightcrawler as a mouthpiece for that bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow, he hated religion and he used Nightcrawler of all
Even though,
people,
Of
yet in the
course.
comics for a while, he was actually
even though he's a devoted
Kurt,
Catholic.
and actually for a time, Kurt was actually a priest.
Uh huh. In fact, he was a monk in this show that we're
Yeah,
talking about right now.
that he was.
They were trying to make him a pope in that story, which was the dumbest of ideas. Pope Kurt Vulcan. Why would what was weird was why would he even agree to that? Not
I mean,
because of his appearance, but because of his piousness. He knows he ain't there yet.
Yeah, well, Kurt as a priest, yes, but as a pope, not so much.
He knows that if he even decides that he can't do what he do anymore,
Mm-hmm.
he cannot operate as an X-Men anymore if he went to be the Pope, to be part of the Vatican. And even then, like he wouldn't even agree with the Vatican's viewpoints on religion. So he wouldn't accept the Pope. He wouldn't take the
As well, as well as the methodologies.
But yeah. So final thoughts on season 4 of X-Men 92.
It's a beautiful mess. That is the most distinct way to say it.
As you like to do. As you like to do. But this is why we love you, Dom.
I may be an optimist and idealist, but I'm not blind to reality.
Leia.
This is I don't have too much to say for this episode. Like I said, there were some
You
gems.
mean Steven.
Oh, season. Thank you. There were some gems in this season, but to me, this is when the show started its decline. I must just simply just say that. And like I said, that episode, I forgot the title of it again that we were talking about with Apocalypse and
Beyond Good and Evil.
Beyond Good and Evil should have been their series finale.
Series.
Yeah, so yeah, that's my thoughts on it. My thoughts was some gems, but in all, it started the decline of the show.
Saving grace for that 4-parter, even though I have my own mixed feelings about that one, was Bishop. Even though he barely did shit throughout that whole
Yeah, it was more Cable than Bishop.
Yeah, Cable got to shine a lot in those 4-part episodes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was more. One thing I will say, you guys don't believe me when I said this is a Wolverine centric season. I'll tell you why I say that. Most of the episode have him being more assertive. You had 2 episodes, or 3, I believe, that had him centered specifically, like the Lois and Steel, which is the debut of the Silver Samurai.
Mm-hmm. I remember that episode.
There's also, of course, the more like Christmas
Mm-hmm.
hinge on. Oh, that was a lie.
Mm.
Or more specifically, she got her mic and Wi-Fi to work.
Mm-hmm.
Or she probably for a quick nap. She sounds like she's sleepy.
Technical difficulties. My computer and my internet are having a fight.
I know.
Oh,
Yeah.
so this is what you sound when you're mildly irritated.
It comes and goes.
Anyways, yeah, there's even Nightcrawler's debut episodes actually centers around Wolverine as well, or at least Wolverine shares the spotlight with Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bloodlines episode has him taken front and center to protect Kurt along with Rogue. Proteus was the starting point of his character arc, where he is beginning to lose himself in his berserk rage to the point where he was willing to kill a kid.
Ooh.
Think about that for a minute. He was trying to kill a kid, right?
Hmm.
And even Wolverine himself knows that was not him. He knew that was not him. He was not himself. It's like, this is not me. This is not how I act. What the hell is wrong with me? I almost tried to kill a kid. And I would have done it. I would have enjoyed it. This whole season was all. In fact, here's another thing that's Wolverine centric. First episode of Beyond Good and Evil, when soon as Cyclops and Jean tied the knot, you know what he said to Psyche? You better make her happy, or else you don't want me to hear about it.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Yep.
Favorite line of the episode, where
Mine too.
where Wolverine gets over his love for Jean. Like he's saying, "Look, man, you won, but you better make her happy." It's the age old '90s the love rival just in a way kind of giving their blessing to the victor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We don't get that anymore in most modern shows. We don't get that anymore.
They need to make a
And
comeback.
honestly,
Rivals.
I've already said this before, but thank God it's finally over now.
Yeah, that trope was getting a little.
No, the thing is, Funnel. You were born in what year?
2003.
See, we used to have shows even before 2003, or even before that, beyond that, where we solved conflicts like that. We solved tropes like that.
Or read them.
Sometimes,
Or played. Read or play them.
Sometimes they took a while to get there. Sometimes, but they get solved. And 9 times out of 10, those who have read and watched those love triangles come to their conclusion, right? Learn something from them. You get a lot of people that gave blessings to the victor, and that's something we're missing in modern storytelling, where if the writer decides which the opposite sex decide on who they want to be, the loser gives the blessing to the victor. And it's usually in the form of, you better treat her right, or you better treat him right. Because, and what that rival is basically saying, and what many of us will always say, and I've said this to many people who I'm gonna get a little personal. I've been in situations like that before in my youth. And usually when I lose to somebody, I say, you better treat her right. And I walk away. But when things like that resolve, it's usually saying, the character is basically saying to the victor, treat them right, otherwise why were we fighting over them in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
What like why were we fighting over in the first place if you're just gonna dog them like that? You know,
Oh, sure, yeah.
that's basically what the love rival is saying to the victor is you better treat them right, otherwise I'm gonna come and fuck your ass up.
That's
Because once
basically
again,
it.
we went through all that bullshit together over this woman for you to fuck it up like that.
And we will touch more on that in a future episode of the Real Millennials.
But yeah, I would say the saving grace of this season is Wolverine through and through from beginning to end. Though it came at the expense of some of the characters acting completely out of character in some places, especially with Storm. Storm, and again, that one was of all the episodes, that one was the worst. The Christmas episode where they're constantly yelling at Wolverine and yelling at each other. Everybody's yelling at each other except for Rogue, Beast, and Cyclops, and we lost his humble again. Jesus,
It's.
Lord have mercy on that child.
I feel her
internet
pain.
don't know what it does.
I've had days where my internet has had a brain of its own itself, so I feel her pain. I definitely
Speaking of
feel her
which,
pain.
Yeah, that's been kind of something I've been also been worried, or at least something that's been a concern for me is. You guys ever notice that your internet has been slow, despite the whatever the company you have, or whatever service you have?
I've noticed it a bit lately.
Our infrastructure is kind of failing, guys. Keep an eye out on that. Be very careful, especially with us being very codependent on the internet. This age of humanity.
Yes.
Y'all monitor your equipment.
Yeah. That'll be one step ahead.
Yep. But without further ado, I also would like to name the Warrior of Light Final Fantasy Fan 012.
Well, that about does it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you saw, click like and subscribe and share with your family and friends. And make sure to ring that notification bell, that way you get notified of our latest videos. Go subscribe to Wolf10 Media if you haven't already. Go subscribe to me if you haven't already. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Final Fantasy Fan 12 signing off, and remember, may the light forever shine upon us.
Did I get Leia?
No, you didn't.
You got to me first.
The lovely Leia Valor, Leia plus size.
Hello, everyone. This is Leia Plasage, your lovely lady of valor, and thank you for joining us in this discussion of X-Men 92 Season 4. If you have episodes that we did not mention from this season that you want to discuss, please leave it in the comments below. We would love to hear what you guys are thinking and what your thoughts are. I'm sure Wolf will very much appreciate that. Did you feel the way we felt about this season? Or maybe you thought this season was an improvement. Whatever it is, please leave in the comments below. We definitely want to hear. And also like and share this video if you know anyone that's an X-Men fan or loves X-Men 92, or they think X-Men 97 is God's gift to human race and they don't know the history of X-Men. Pass these videos along to them so they can get the accurate information about what the X-Men are all about. But until then, everybody take care. If you're frying in any states, try to stay cool. If you are facing flooding in any states, just try to stay safe. And we'll see you again on Thursday.
The Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Thank you everyone for joining us in our retrospective of X-Men 92 Season 4, and make sure you be on the lookout for this Thursday's episode of The Real Millennials, where we're going to talk about gay people then versus how they are now. In fiction and real life.
and we got a lot to say.
Yeah, that is going to be an interesting conflab.
Yeah,
That is going to be
yeah,
very.
everybody has a lot to
And
say.
you guys
Great.
will probably never see me the same ever again when we get to this.
Well,
Long
I'm
story
looking
Because
short,
believe me, I have a lot to say.
long story
Well,
short, everyone has a lot to say, straights and gays alike. But until then, this is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell signing off. And remember to keep up the good fight in keeping hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world. Because remember, cynicism and nihilism are for losers. You got to keep your head up.
It's mostly to do that we are mostly upset on behalf of the real ones, the ones that really dealt with adversity, the ones who have faced a lot of hardships, true hardships, who like to live comfortable lives, who like to live good lives, who has lived good lives and want to be integrated with society without the hassle. But you know, the world ain't perfect. We all know that. They know that.
Nobody's
It's
perfect.
unfortunate that they have been infiltrated by the fakers that have made it absolutely worse for them. That is what I want to bring to light. It's more so to do with we're angry on behalf of the real ones. The ones that want to live normal, comfortable lives with their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Or their sexual orientation, if you will.
The sexual orientation or being uncomfortable in their own bodies, aka the real transsexuals.
The
Or
ones
the
that are
ones
born
that love their craft and love their art, and that's what they want to shine. There are those out there that their art and their craft speaks for themselves, and that's what they like to put first. And there are some out there that are genuine in that area. Very many.
As you're welcome in, I want to remind you guys once again, and sadly we don't have Humble with us to sign off, but she shares a sentiment. She's a writer and she writes, but you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet.
Me and my friends get no